possession. Not a lot of scrums, of course, because we've only been going about 5 minutes. A chance break by Hooker Conroy. Good play by Tony Fisher, the hooker, veteran hooker from Bradford Northern. Bill Francis from Wigan. He qualifies because his father. It's a knock-on. He qualifies because of parental heritage from Wales. That was Peter Gurnick with the ball. Having trouble in getting into the scrum, and the referee, Monsieur Jameau from France, is saying he wants it on his particular spot, not on theirs. Just 10 yards out from the halfway line, just over. You can see it on the right, the little marks. And to New Zealand followers who are watching this, Ron McGregor, the chairman of the league, who played here in 1947, is here, along with, of course, the manager and the assistant of the New Zealand team, Mr. Watson. Mick Murphy. A lot of regard for New Zealand rugby players here in Wales. James Harrison to John Smith. John Smith standing in for Kenny Sterling. The referee going in and penalising Bill Francis, number 6. Anybody going to have a shot at goal? Warren, you're going to have a go? Going to have a shot, yes. They're the two test judges, Jackson and Mr. Cran, have leads going behind the post. So we've got 25 yards line we're crossing now, and another 20 yards from that, so it's a 45 angled shot. 5 minutes in the first half gone, no score. The great goal kickers from New Zealand in the past, like Bert Cook, who of course came to play for Leeds, but of course was a rugby union player, and then turned professional, and Warwick Clark, full-backs that I've seen and liked. This is a chance for a 2-point. It doesn't take a long run, but it's well wide, I would imagine, and David Watkins takes it. David Watkins shows the ball to Roy Mathias from 25 yards line, and the referee is indicating tackles, not with the 5 at one time. He's doing it one by one, which is rather interesting, but rather misleads for identification of a number of tackles. John Mantle. Well, there's been quite a lot of rain here, but these last 2 days, but the condition of the ground is very, very good, and very good. The drainage system, conditions look good, and the movement so far with both teams indicates that the ground is no problem, because they play cricket on this ground, as I've already said. New Zealand cricket players will no doubt bear that out because they were here during summer. And this is a break by Stuart Gallagher, who's got support with him. It's not a forward pass, but Bill France scored, and the Kiwis are feeling for a forward pass, but it was taken by Banner from Gallagher and to Francis, who went in under the post, and there he is, Wales 3, New Zealand 0. And there's a little argument going on between the New Zealand players as to whether it was a forward pass or not. But Mr. Jameau had no hesitation in falling through, and David Watkins had a chance to make it 5 points. Straight kick. And 2 points. 5 points to nil. 8 minutes gone in the first half in this World Championship. A match which both teams particularly want to win. Wales, of course, having beaten England earlier in the year in Australia, wanting to take this, and they're leading by 5 points to nil. But New Zealand, if they win, they will go into third position. At the moment, Australia, not at the moment. It is in fact Australia who has taken the World Championship, England a second, just 1 point, with a tremendous match yesterday at Wigan. Jim Mills, Big Jim. Bomber Mills is called by many of his opponents, amongst other things, who have met his 16.5 stone from time to time. Big, strong forward, John Mantle. And it's amazing how some of the Welsh players, well, it's not amazing, but when they get the red jersey on, how they really tick. Chance for Tony Gordon with a forward pass. Well, the New Zealand players looking a little bit doubtful about that, and particularly having had the try which they fell to the forward pass. And it certainly, from my position, which isn't straight to the action, it looked a little bit, might have been forward. However, it's New Zealand possession, using Dennis Williams with Bob Jarvis. Fred Arcoy, one of the popular members from New Zealand, and Peter Gurnick. There's an overlap with the fullback. Well, watch how this fella goes. He pushes them off. He's a right crowd pleaser, in this lad, Tony Gordon. He came in as a substitute against England and scored a try. 10 minutes in the first half gone. Gallagher being penalised for striking against Bob Jarvis, and the referee has gone another 10 yards back because Brian Gregory was talking. Now, this is the sort of thing that one feels in the soccer world might be done. The referee's calling David Watkins up regarding Brian Gregory, and is cautioning the captain about Gregory's offence. So Warren Collicoat, no score yet for New Zealand, second attempt. The score is Wales 5, New Zealand 0. And I think some of the Welsh followers don't like him putting a big hole into this very well-kept ground at St Helens, Swansea. Don't confuse it, St Helens, Lancashire. St Helens, Swansea in Wales. Doesn't take a long run. Strong striker, gets plenty of height, and no goal. Might be difficult to assess with the shorter post. I don't suppose Collicoat, of course, realises the wind coming from the sea and blowing it away. I suppose that's keeping the rain away, which is good, but not for goal kicking. David Watkins getting plenty of height so his forwards can get under it, and they do just that. But Bob Jarvis making sure they don't get the ball. Sorensen, Dane Sorensen, the two Sorensens. Frank Wilson going in quickly. Dennis Williams losing ground. Peter Gurney. Good loose forward. Not the heaviest of loose forwards. Probably not a heavy and big man like Travis Hardwick used to be. But a good forward he was. But he's very lively boy is this Gurney. And up and under, which he does quite often. Taken safely by Frank Wilson. St Helens, Cardiff. Wales, of course, in their traditional red jerseys in possession and red shorts, and New Zealand on the right in their famous black and white and hooped stockings. And Watkins ducking and dodging, weaving and getting the ball away. There's a chance of a quick break by Wilson, but he's decided to give Matthias the job of getting away from it all. Llanelli. Sospanvar, we had all the famous Welsh airs before this match started. The crowd no doubt enjoying it. Just how much the New Zealand would, I don't know, but Roy Matthias. 25 yards line, just on the left. Banner to Francis, Wilson, Matthias. Wilson. Francis. Wales in possession on the left. All red. And not enough trying of giving the ball around, but Watkins knocking on. And New Zealand in possession. Oh, this is a chance here. There's a chance for Tony Cole. Can he be chased? He's being chased. Can Bevan catch him? He's going to score if he dives. He dives and he scores. What a good try indeed. What a good try indeed by Tony Cole. What a way. He had to run and run and run, and his legs were almost giving out when Bevan was coming across, but he dived. Bevan and Francis were chasing him, and then he made the dive triumphantly to give New Zealand a try. They've been really working hard to make it Wales 5, New Zealand 3, and 15 minutes in the first half gone, and an easy chance for Colico. But there's Tony Cole, the scorer from the West Coast. West Coast produced many famous rugby league players. That's some great moments of rugby joy on the West Coast, but it's a moment for Warren Collicoat of Auckland. Oh, he did a little bit frightened of that. He got it over all right, but he didn't bolt it like he usually did. But it's 2 points, Wales 5, New Zealand 5, and so we start all straight up again. That was a very good moment for New Zealand, and Cole still had to go. So David Watkins, who dropped the pass that led to the break, has gone 10 yards. The ball's got to go 10 yards. John Greengrass looking to get the ball away to Gurney, who keeps following through, but it was well taken actually by Brian Gregory. Good break. Good break. Dane Sorensen from Auckland. Principal town of rugby league, of course, principal city. And this is one of Williams' specials up and under. I did a chance. David Watkins had to go down for that, and we got player injured. And it's, I think it's Brian Gregory. It is Brian Gregory, he's all right, said the referee. And then comes Johnny Malpass, the physiotherapy for Wales, and Mark Oram is the physio for New Zealand. So the score 5 points each. A try by Francis for Wales, a goal by Watkins, and a try by Cole for New Zealand. And there it is in the special scoreboard. New Zealand 5, Wales 5. And Bill Francis now getting attention. New Zealand came on this tour hoping to really set Australia in trouble and England, but they haven't had the best of luck, and of course they lost their captain, Ken Sterling, who was concussed at Bradford and unable to play today. "25 yards line," Mick Murphy. Tony Fisher, Francis, standing deep, Dave Willicombe. Dave Willicombe is one of the bright prospects of Welsh Rugby League football. Mills, and a knock-on. And if Fred Acoy could have got clear then, there might have been another sensational race for a try. As it is, it's still New Zealand in possession. It's still 5-5. And now showing the ball well, Tom Conroy, the hooker. Not the heaviest of hookers, but still a lively one. And the referee must give a penalty there. Must give a penalty. Mick Murphy concerned with that, and the referee indicating what it was all about. So it's a chance for who's going to kick. Gordon's going to kick, I think. Tony Gordon from Auckland is going to kick at a goal. Well, that's not a long distance because New Zealand got the win, so it's actually 25 yards plus another 10 to make it 35 yards in the distance. And he threw a piece of grass up to see which way that he thought the wind was going to blow, but what he doesn't know, whether it's going to blow from the sea just as he takes the kick. He's got to allow for that wind coming in off the sea. And the flags are up exactly with 20 minutes gone and 20 minutes to go in the first half. And there's the scorer who really attracted the attention of British Rugby League fans in Bradford when they played, with a very good try, and now he's scoring here. 5 to Wales, 7 to New Zealand. Wales to kick off. And New Zealand lost quite a lot of their good rugby league players to Australia. See Bernie Lowther and Eddie Heatley, Robert Orchard, but they've still got some good ones left. And this Tony Cole, for instance, is really shattering down the middle. There's an urgency and a sense of urgency about New Zealand now. The Kiwi got a good ducking run that by John Smith, and he went under a big stiff arm hanging out. Probably not deliberately, one might add. The 5-tackle rule, of course, in international rugby league. David Watkins, one side step, but then he was sandwiched, and 25 yards line. Frank Wilson, who's capable of, he's capable of dropping the ball as he did then, but he's quite capable of going. I was just going to say he's capable of going half the length of the field, but he's not going without the ball. Between the halfway line and the 25 yards line, John Mantle, being a good servant in rugby league football. New Zealand followers will remember him as a good tourist. Banner. Again, the pass being dropped, using full-back Collicoat, using the big, strong bumper. I think I'll call him, instead of Peter Gurnick and Tony Gordon, I think I'll call them Bumper Gordon and Bumper Gurnick, the way that they both keep going through on the full. New Zealand got quite a few supporters around. Kenny Sterling's father, Bluey Sterling, who came in the 1939 tour, he's here along with quite a few people. Murray Ead's father, but Murray Ead injured and not in the side. Fortunately, he's a good forward. Oh, it could have been a sensation there with John Bevan if he'd taken the ball clean. In number 5, John Bevan went to take the interception and it'd have been away behind the post, but he didn't take it. This is a chance for John Smith. In touch. I'm sure New Zealand followers and New Zealand rugby fans will remember John Bevan when he played rugby union and scored quite a lot of tries. Five points to Wales, 7 to New Zealand. And we're into the last 15 minutes or so in the first half. Mick Murphy. Just a little bunching now by Wales. New Zealand have had a very good coach side and they brought a lot of good players through the coach side. Today Tony Carl and Peter Gurnick and Warren Collicoat all came from the coach side, and that is the future, no doubt, of New Zealand Rugby League, having some of these youngsters brought in and then experience in playing on famous football grounds like this and playing against the best that the British Isles can offer in Rugby League. It had bags of room there at the scrum half, but Dennis Williams not quite making the break he's capable of doing at the moment, playing Patchell. Gurnick. Jarvis, there should be something here from the pass was delayed. It gave the dummy. The referee says play on. Oh dear, they're dropping it around. Bit of a simple sort of a messing about pass. 15 minutes to half time, 5 points to Wales, 7 to the Kiwis. Chances are going astray now for New Zealand. They're just losing the sense of urgency. There's a good chance there with an overlap. John Mantle. St Helens and Newport. Did a show for John Mantle for his benefit recently. Well thought of in his own club of St Helens. Quite a lot of Welsh people often come up to watch the rugby league games in the north of England, particularly when Welsh players are playing, and there's one of them, Tony Fisher. James Mills, known to many Australians, played, of course, for North Sydney. Well, that was a bit of a similar and a good pass, and again a good try by Francis from Mantle, and again New Zealand claiming a forward pass, but sporting as they are, they don't argue, putting their hands out and appealing that it was forward. Dennis Williams, the captain, saying he was forward, but Francis, for the second time, got the try to put Wales back in front, 8 points to 7. So with 14 minutes to half time, a 1 point lead could easily be turned into a 3 point lead with David Watkins kicking. This will be his 50th of the season if he kicks this one. And it's an easy one, and it's a 2-pointer. 10 points to 7, Wales into double figures. Both from breaks, taken on the burst. Both, I might say, queried by some of the New Zealand players against the French referee. Wales 10, New Zealand 7. Dennis Williams. Just no doubt a little disheartening for New Zealand. They feel a little bit disturbed about the two try, but of course this is the sort of game that once they're given, the thing is to get on with it and score yourself to take off the momentum of trouble. Wales 10, New Zealand 7. Wales in possession on the left. John Mantle, who was concerned with the break that created the opening for the try. Francis, Wilson. The Australians yesterday were doing a great lot of pinching the ball and succeeding many times. Good long pass. Jim Mills standing outside. A bit of soccer going on here. Well taken by Phil Orchard. A player whose scintillating runs on the last tour here brought him a lot of tries. Jarvis. Oh, nice dummy, and now this could be Dennis Williams, a long one. Oh, it's gone far too wide, and the little dog joins in. Well, the play's livening up now, and the New Zealanders realise this sense of urgency now. They've got to really go forward. They're only 3 points the margin down, 10 points to 7, and 11 minutes to half-time. Frank Wilson on the outer, there he is, taking the pass, and he's got John Bevan trying to get speed up, and he does get it to Bill Francis. Well, it's a bit lively to say the least. Gallagher dumping. So the crowd now reacting to this burst of splendour from Wales, but the finish in that instance not expected to bring the try they'd hoped for. Young Greengrass. Jarvis. Collicoat. Enterprising Collicoat, the full-back, not afraid to come up. Arcoy and Williams kicking for touch, but getting it. 10 minutes to half-time, and 25 yards line on the left, and you can see the cricket pitch just to the left with the covers. Fred Arcoy. I'm told gets more letters from New Zealand than most of the others put together. Must have a fan club there. Oh, well picked up, Jarvis. Well played, good move, good rugby. John Smith's went scrum half when Sterling went off at Bradford, and he showed himself a capable player as a scrum half. Sorensen. Kurt Sorensen. I'm going to dive in for it, and his strength might get him, Phil Orchard. Very strong player, Phil Orchard. So near the try line, you can see it on his boot. And Tony Fisher pulling him back, getting the ball, and it's a scrum down. Tony Fisher. And there's the ships at sea, this rather attractive setting. Banner, Peter Banner, Murphy. John Mantle trying to bring a few yards away each time to get out of the danger zone in the allotted spell of 5 tackles. Good tackle by Arcoy. Watkins will kick. Not a knock on and not in touch. Collicoat trying to go through Matthias, and Matthias is trying to haul him into touch by his jersey collar. Sorensen, and the touch judge running in for Tony Fisher being concerned with an incident and a penalty. And Tony Fisher looking very disgusted at the Dutch judge, Mr. Kraan of Leeds. So a chance for Tony Gordon to put 2 points in and bring the margin down to 1 point. Second attempt, one success, and 7 minutes to half time. 3-2 penalties, so this is the third penalty and a chance for 2 points. They've got the wind, but it's curing the wind, as they say, whether it's going to come out to this side or not. That's the tendency so far of the kicking. I think he's got it. I think it is straight as a die and into the middle. And there's Gordon, one of the men that will be talked about when this tour is over. Wales 10, New Zealand 9. So although Wales got the 2 tries, which New Zealand players were certainly talking about and querying, suggesting forward passes, they're now within 1 point again. And a win to them today will put them in third position and no doubt make their followers feel it was all worthwhile. Well, the 2 Sorensen brothers, Kurt and Dane, have been in this play quite strongly, but it's green grass, and now Dane Sorensen, and now Kurt Sorensen coming in on cue. Jarvis. Tony Carl, who got the first try. First try, of course, for New Zealand. Jarvis trying to find the opening and gets it. And away goes Kurt Sorensen. Orchard's coming up on the burst. And Orchard's got it, and what a good try indeed. Excellent rugby league football to put New Zealand in front 12-10, and the crowd giving their appreciation and showing it, with Kurt Sorensen, who had been slain, had been very prominent, giving it to Orchard, and off he went, and near enough, I would think, for Gordon, who was kicking for the first time on tour in this match. A chance to put into 14 points. It's 12-10 at the moment. Well, Jarvis getting attention. New Zealand have been very unlucky with injuries on this draw, and they're getting full attention, both from his colleagues, who are obviously very worried that the kicker is Tony Gordon. 4 minutes to half time. 12-10, could be 14-10. He's trying to gauge the wind, and he gets it. So that's a good kick, a good try, and a good point of time for New Zealand. They must feel a little more confident now than they did a short while ago. 3 out of 3 for Tony Gordon, kicking for the first time, as I said a moment ago, on this tour. So the Welsh fans now are saying, come on, and they'll have to do, because there's some lively youngsters in the Kiwi pack, but not by dropping passes like that. And penalty against New Zealand for kicking Dennis Williams on Frank Wilson. 3 minutes to half time. Watkin probably have a shot at goal. He's going to. Plus injury time, of course, and here there are neutral time keepers. Actually, for Great Britain, it's a first grade referee, a man called Peter Massey. Third attempt, kicked 2, so it will be a hat-trick of goals for Watkin, just as it was when we were here a couple of weeks ago. 14-10 to New Zealand. Takes his 2 to the left. Probably hasn't touched his moustache yet. He's not going to bother today. Yes, the flags slow to go up, but nevertheless they do. 14-12. 2 minutes to half-time, and Wales to receive from the kick-off. Well, there's plenty of points in this match, 26 altogether, and a half still untouched. The whole of the second half still untouched from a point or any point of view. Rather interesting of the scorers, with Francis getting the back, getting tries for Wales, and for New Zealand the two second row forwards being very much involved in the play, both Coll and Sorensen. Coll scoring the first and Sorensen making the second. Well, Davison used to be a pretty good hooker for the Kiwis, I remember. One of my many tours to Australia. Give it to Bevan, the crowd is saying. But too late. The crowd loves to see John Bevan run. It's very popular, of course, down here. Comes from Aberafan, a famous home of rugby players. Got a bit of injury time to add to the 1 minute. 1 minute to half time. Interesting to see where the referee signals the tackle, but not necessarily giving them all at once or the right hand. The chance for Frank Wilson, got it inside, and he missed it to John Bevan, who already salutes before he's over and decides to go behind the post. John Bevan to put Wales back into the lead, 15 points to 14. Well, just seconds to go to half-time. So Wilson and Bevan been trying hard to get the opening, and so they do, with Wales going in the lead 15 to 14, and the big crowd here on giving Bevan just what they wanted him to give. The stand reminds me very much of Carlo Park, except it's longer. Carlo Park in Auckland, but it's longer, and it goes from try line to try line and past it. Watkins to kick. Watkins kicks the goal to make it 17-14 as the hooter goes with the half-time score. Wales 17 points, New Zealand 14, and no doubt David Watkins will be taking a much happier team into the dressing room for the half-time chat with the score: Wales 17, New Zealand 14.
The half-time collection today is for
And it's Wales to restart, half-time, Wales 17, New Zealand 14 into the second half. And New Zealand at half-time were a little bit perturbed about a couple of the tries. The fell to forward passing claim that one of the test judges was signalling a forward pass. Francis for Wales got two, Bevan got one, and New Zealand tries Coll and Gordon with goals by Gordon 3 and Collicoat 1. Watkins 4 goals, so 17 points to 14. It's been very close. Lead has changed hands quite a number of times. Good strong run and a hard line to knock on, but advantage to Wales. Kurt Sorensen been having a very good match. Big John Mantle. A lot of youngsters. Dane Sorensen's 19 and Kurt Sorensen's 18. And Freda Coy 19, so New Zealand almost of under 20s against Wales's one won't be unkind to say over 40s, over 30s, with quite a lot of players who had passed 30. A chance for New Zealand. 17 points to 14. Bill Francis knocked on. Just the one try, the margin. And I'm quite sure Georgie Menzies, the coach, great footballer in his day, had quite a lot to say to them at half-time. Oh, and Tony Fisher was going in there, and the test judge has gone in. Little bit of needle there, and a penalty to New Zealand. And the referee, who's he calling up? He's calling up Kurt Sorensen. But in actual fact, of course, Fisher was involved with it, and the penalty is being given against him. I would think there it was a question of brother sticking up for brother with comment, the two Sorensens, and there's the sacred Swansea turf being pushed down by Tony Gordon. Tony Gordon, quite a weighty, beefy chap. His fourth attempt is all track record at the moment, 3 out of 3. Gordon to kick, not a long run. It's wide, he came this side, he didn't quite get the gauging of the wind, but he went close. So Wales 17, New Zealand 14. So just to the start of the second half, with New Zealand having gone off to a cracking start. The first 3 minutes, Phil Orchard goes straight at them. Knocking Mick Murphy back. Dane Sorensen. Just a little bit of needle coming in now to this match, with a margin of 3 points in favour of Wales. The young Kiwis really going into it now. Looking for support and getting it from Tony Cole. Gurnick, Jarvis, Smith being buried very quickly. Greengrass. And the 5th tackle, of course. In league football is 6th tackle, and we've got a Welsh player injured. Looks like Bill Francis. Looks like Tony Fisher. Can't see him in the scrum. It is Tony Fisher. Seems to be his arm or his hand. Well, there's the Tom Conroy, the hooker, and Dane Sorensen, and they've been doing well. Sorensen equalled the hooking of Fisher, 6-6 in the scrums, but Fisher seems to be all right. And the younger, lighter pack of New Zealand doing well to maintain a level at 6-6, some 6 now, in fact, in their favour. You can see the movement of the Kiwis, sense of urgency. Well, this is a chance for the strong boy to go through Watkins, and it goes through Watkins, does Gordon, with a good try to peg it level, pegging again, 17-17, 5 minutes in the second half, and this boy Gordon taking it from Fred Acoy, and it's Gordon to kick. So Gordon, who wasn't, I suppose, considered, well, he was considered obviously, but he wasn't certain to be in the first 13, now must be surely getting himself a place regularly with this sort of football. 3 goals and 1 try, 9 points so far to Tony Gordon, the boy from Auckland. And you see what I was saying about the stand, goes to the dead ball line, and that's the distance he's got to go. Again, it's a question of handling the wind. He's against it this time. 17-17 before he kicks. Doesn't mess about, gets on with it. But it's no goal when it was needed. 17-17, and already the lead has changed hands 5 times. So the young Kiwis against the more experienced Welsh side. Now just in the first 5 minutes or so of this second half, looking a lively lot. George Menzies had a lot to say, and I see that acting captain Dennis Williams is telling them to stand deep, knowing that it's going to be put well down, and he does to Collicoat. A little bit of hard work going on in that tackle. And the Welsh team are now just doing a little bit of mistaken identity, I think, there. They probably don't know black from red, but still. 25 yards line on the left. And Greengrass can't get in, but he does. And he's gone field side as Greengrass did actually before half time. Sorensen, Dane Sorensen, number 8. The long-haired Peter Gurnick to Kurt Sorensen, a long one. But it didn't come off. John Bevan almost deflected it. Fred Acoy. Oh, he's being carried and being dumped. Somebody's, as they say, prostrate, and Dennis Williams is showing that it's being kicked. Bob Jarvis and Bill Francis was concerned. So the first real spurt of trouble coming soon after the second half, with the score 17-17 after 8 minutes second half. The referee talking to Mr. Jamo, the captain Dennis Williams talking to the French referee. Fred Acoy down, and the penalty. Davy Watkins to kick. The experienced Welsh team, I might just have too much savvy about them, but the younger Kiwis have certainly got into this second half with a lot of endeavour and not afraid to get into the attack, but they're now defending. Strong along the line there, just to the back of the cricket pitch for Glamorgan. Ryan Gregory. 17-17. Wales now getting the cheers of their fans, working some sort of a move for Big Jim Mills. Must be only a couple of yards out. You see the posts, the padded posts. Don't pad them possibly as much for rugby union as they do for rugby league, but probably it's just the way I see it from this vantage point. Should be a try here for David Willicombe, and it's a good try for David Willicombe from Bill Francis, going the almost blind side. David Willicombe from Cardiff and Wigan putting Wales back into the lead. The lead's changing hands for the 6th time. Wales 20, New Zealand 17. 10 minutes into the second half, with a lot of scoring in this match. 20 points to 17. Davy Watkins at the right end for kicking, the benefit of the wind. Goes his 2 steps to the left, just touches his moustache, and then breathes and goes round the corner, and it's a goal. It's a goal. It was over the props before the wind took hold. So Wales 22, New Zealand 17. 11 minutes gone, with Wales taking again a lead. The lead has changed hands many times, I've just said, but to see it after a bright second half start by New Zealand, they would feel a bit unhappy about that. Position created after the incident, which lost them possession and position. Experience now might tell its tale. John Mantle. John Greengrass from Canterbury has gone into the field side prop, and David Watkins will no doubt use